want to get ahead of myself, but today is a good day. Justice won over politics. It's been a long time coming.
That was attorney Mark Garagos. You recognize him, right? He's one of the attorneys representing Erik and Lyle Menendez. And there he was addressing the media after the defense got a very favorable ruling by a judge on Friday. Their resentencing bid is what's trending in true crime. So Friday, the judge decided that the convicted killers can continue this quest for resentencing. This is despite opposition from the new LA County District Attorney. So DA Nathan Hochman had requested to withdraw the petition for resentencing that was filed by his predecessor, George Gascon, and the court denied that request, saying, no, the resentencing petition stays with the court. So what's this mean? Well, it means the brothers are going to return to court this Thursday and have that hearing they've been wanting. Doesn't mean they're getting out, just means they're going to have the hearing. Erik and Lyle Menendez's cousin spoke out as well to the media afterwards, saying it's time for the brothers to come home.
Their work isn't performative. It's purposeful. It's real. We look forward to a full, fair presentation of who Erik and Lyle are today, not just a version frozen in time, in a time of pain and fear, but the whole truth.
All right, so should we be reading anything into this decision? If you saw all the headlines over the weekend, you would think the brothers are going to go free tomorrow. That has not been decided yet. So let's read the tea leaves a bit. Let's bring in our power panel to do that this morning. Still with me, attorney Tommy Pope, and want to welcome in retired FBI Special Agent Jennifer Coffendaffer and attorney Mario Gallucci. Good morning to you all. Jen, can I start with you, please? What do you think about the court's decision to not allow the DA to withdraw that petition and allow things to keep on moving?
Well, I think essentially this judge is saying, listen, this was petitioned before the court and we're going to move forward with it just because there was a change in DA. I don't think he wants to look like this is political in any way. And he's going to make both sides present their arguments fairly before he makes a decision. So it does make some sense.
Right, Jen. Good move by the judge. I agree. Mario, let me go to you next, please. The defense seems very encouraged. Do you think we should read anything into this?
Well, Garagos is, he's a great attorney, and he just won, the right to go forward, which is good. He's going to move forward, and he's going to put together all of the evidence, what they've been doing over the last 30 years in jail, which is compelling. But the district attorney is arguing that, although they did great things while in jail, they still haven't admitted to what they actually did, and that they're actually still lying. So, it's going to be interesting. The hearing is going to be interesting. Two completely different sides.
Right. And Mario, thank you for hitting on something so key. I was on the radio. I do radio every Monday morning with my friends back in Pittsburgh. And they said that what I was sharing was something that they didn't think is very well known. It's exactly what you said about how the Menendez brothers haven't accepted full responsibility for this. And that is a big sticking point for DA Nathan Hochman. He said previously, look, if you would just drop this act about this being a self-defense killing, which we know based on all the evidence it was not, then perhaps we can consider allowing resentencing for you and perhaps even supporting it. But up until then, no. Tommy Pope, you were a great prosecutor when you served. Tell me, do you think Nathan Hochman's got the right idea here, saying until you accept responsibility for your crimes, we shouldn't be affording you any legal leniency?
I think that is right from the prosecution side. As far as the hearing itself, I think, the prosecution, his predecessor, there was a lot of things I inherited from my predecessor when I defeat the incumbent that you just had to deal with. And so the fact that I don't think it was wrong for him to try to withdraw it, but I think, as the other guests have shared, it's before the court. And, you and I talked about this a while back. I think what aggravates me sometimes is how it's media driven from the standpoint, would we be having this same discussion discussion if they weren't the documentaries or docudramas or whatever the heck they are. But so I think the court has the right to have it. I think the prosecution will bring these points in. But as the other folks said, in the hearing, I think there's a venue for these arguments that they hadn't accepted responsibility. Of course, the defense can argue all the good things they've done. But I think that core issue, I think the court could hear it sua sponte, which, for your jurors means the court could have decided to do this, for whatever reason. So I think the hearing is going to go forward, and I think we'll hear the valid points. So I wouldn't be overly concerned, because truthfully, once you make the conviction, the prosecution really doesn't have the case in their hands anymore. It's either the courts or corrections or whatever. So I think it's proceeding on course, and the real questions will be what we hear in the courtroom.
Yes, Tommy, such excellent points, and about media driving things. Thank you for saying that. I was saying on the radio too, and I'll say it here now. The documentary and the series, very entertaining, well done, enjoyed them both. They didn't have everything in them. They weren't focused on the fabricating of evidence, the lying, the changing of the stories about this alleged sexual abuse. They were trying to put up one of Lyle's girlfriends to say that she was raped by the father. That was one of the earliest stories. It's changed so many times. They've perjured themselves, encouraged others to commit perjury. It's really, really bad what they've done in terms of lying and frauds perpetrated on the court, but that wasn't the big focus, now was it? So a lot of people don't think about that. Let's talk about some other drama that came up on the heels of this hearing the other day. So Erik and Lyle Menendez's aunt is apparently facing a health setback. According to TMZ, Terry Baralt, who can be seen here if you zoom in, after Friday's hearing, she was found unresponsive in her hotel on Sunday night. In a statement released by the family, they said despite battling colon cancer, Baralt has been in full support of Erik and Lyle, saying in part, quote, no physical pain has ever kept her from being there for her nephews, but the display put on by the DA's office pushed her past the brink. By early this morning, she was rushed to the hospital and remains in critical condition. The family is blaming a courtroom display during the hearing for Baralt's health scare. They're claiming that a photo of the bloody crime scene presented by prosecutors during the hearing is possibly what sparked it. Okay, so here's our question we're asking. Is the DA's office responsible for the aunt's health crisis here? I'm going to go in reverse order this time. Tommy Pope, let me begin with you, please.
I know I'm an old DA, but I mean, absolutely not. This is a adjunct to me of the drama. In respect for her health, you want her to be nothing but healthy. But, court is traumatizing. So we're now going to not have evidence because it might upset somebody. The nature of this crime is out there. And it's graphic. We forget that sometimes. I had a guy that killed his parents with a knife and a baseball bat, and it's graphic stuff. And so tying it to the prosecution is just, I think, to add to the drama. I saw it was some kind of support coalition for the Menendez brothers. The neat thing about social media now, I don't have to base it in truth anymore. I can just pop it out there and the crowd will take and run with it. And I think that's what they're trying to do here.
I'm so with you, Tommy. Mario, to you next, please.
So I agree with Tommy. I mean, I've defended many cases. I also defended a young man who slaughtered both of his parents. You seem to forget that this was a brutal murder done with shotguns. And, there's no apologies from a prosecutor. I mean, it's a court hearing. You have to put your best foot forward as a prosecutor. You have to put the evidence before a judge that you think is going to win your side of the argument. And you're not considering, the people in the audience and their health. I mean, the woman has colon cancer. She travels back and forth to California to go to these hearings. So it's stressful for her, and, kudos to her for doing that, but it's certainly not the prosecution's fault. And Garagos ran with this, as only Garagos can. He ran with it. He wants to file motions against them for breaking, the ethical obligation of a prosecutor. It's all nonsense. He's just playing to the media.
You're so right, Mario. Thank you so much for that. Jen Coffindaffer, last but not least on this point, what's your thoughts on this?
Absolutely concur with your guests. I mean, at the end of the day, people seem to forget the heinousness of this murder. He literally, or they literally blew off the heads of their parents. This was vicious and violent, and it's been well known. These aren't the first time they have seen these photos. She's 85 years old. She has colon cancer. There's no nexus between these photos and her health.
Jen, beautifully said. There's no nexus there. There's no nexus there, you know, and perhaps everyone needs a stark reminder, as you said, Jen, of what this case is about. You're right, because the brutality of it is what's being overlooked. These two killers are being glamorized. They've got, you know, infamy now, and people aren't thinking about how bad this was and what a cold-blooded killing this was. We're thinking about Jose and Kitty Menendez and the lives that were taken way too soon.